collapse is finally over. As Rosenior era ends, we head back to Wembley with more questions than answers. Who takes the dugout? What was the real breaking point behind the scene? And who is the hierarchy trusting to save the project? We have a lot to break down. But before we dive into this video, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you have been following me for a while, you know the drills. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. After weeks of watching things go from bad to worse, we have finally reached the end of the road with Rosenior. This isn't just a rough patch anymore. It was a total collapse. Wednesday marked the day the board pulled the trigger. And honestly, for some of us, it feels more like a relief than a shock. We have to look at the facts. We have suffered 5 consecutive defeats without scoring a single goal. You can't survive that at a club like Chelsea. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea have decided to sack Rosenior with immediate effect. It's over after 4 months and 5 consecutive defeats with 0 goals scored. This sacking doesn't just expose the manager, it exposes the entire Blue Coat project. The hierarchy brought in a manager within their own system and it blew up in their faces. It raises massive questions about the decision making at the top. David Einstein confirmed that while they wanted this to be a long-term marriage, the lack of results in the competition that mattered made his position unattainable. Chelsea part company with head coach Rosenior. Chelsea wanted to give the 41-year-old longer, but results dictate otherwise. FA Cup plus Champions League push key factors. Callum McFarlane to take interim charge before the permanent appointment in the summer. The atmosphere was heavy. We all saw the camera panning to Bedard Egbali during the Brighton game. As reported by Mikel Delaney, a sad night for the club. Sky cameras constantly cutting to Bedard Egbali. It was possible not to wonder whether they were deciding Rosenior's future there and then. No one would be surprised if a club statement was imminent. There was a lot of talks about how much this would cost, but it seems like we protected ourselves with a break clause in the contract. Sky Sports News understand reports that Chelsea will have to pay Rosenior a huge compensation fee are not accurate. It understood a break clause was included in Rosenior's contract. As for what happens now, we aren't rushing into a permanent hire yet. We are handing the keys to Callum McFarlane for the remainder of the season. According to Fabrizio Romano, Callum McFarlane will be Chelsea's new head coach until June on a interim basis. McFarlane will be working with the support of existing Chelsea backroom staff. And this is where it gets frustrating for us as fans. There is a feeling of nepotism within the hierarchy. When you see as they pass over a club legend like John Terry, JT is more qualified than McFarlane, and we know he has the respect of the dressing room. But my question is, why are they keeping our legends at arm's length? According to Kenan Gill, someone close to John Terry said that he would love to work with Chelsea squad and that the feeling might even be mutual in the changing room, but it will be McFarlane, and he's said to be respected by the squad. But moving on to the relationship between the manager and the squad, report confirms that relationship between the manager and the squad had completely disintegrated. When the manager loses the player, there is no coming back, and the details coming out now are staggering. After the Brighton game, the tension finally boiled over in the public. According to Miguel Delaney, in his recent interview after the Brighton game, Rosenior pointed to the players in the most striking language, describing it as unacceptable. Multiple sources insist that some of the players felt the same way about the interview, and that was the anger. The anger wasn't just one-sided. We have learned that the communication had totally broken down to the point where he couldn't look them in the eye after the final whistle. According to Ben Jacobs, Rosenior did not address the Chelsea players in the dressing room after full time yesterday. We can see it on the pitch. The players simply weren't playing for him, and it further shows how clueless this project has become. When you appoint someone whose footballing DNA is completely the opposite of what we stand for as a club. According to Fabrizio Romano, Rosenior's connection with some of the players was not the best. It's not about him as a person or his method, it's probably his views. His approach was completely different from what Chelsea had before and in their DNA. According to internal reports, the senior figures in the squad had seen enough. They knew a change wasn't just necessary, it was urgent. As reported by Ben Jacob, sources say several senior players lost faith in Rosenior and that Chelsea had to make a change. Perhaps the most embarrassing is the lack of respect the manager commanded. When players are making jokes about your appearance rather than listening to your tactics, you have lost the locker room. It's hard to project authority when the squad is laughing behind your back. According to Miguel Delaney, sources say some comments surrounded Rosenior's decision not to wear glass at training ground. One or two even joked about whether it was to look tougher. It's a shambles when you have a manager that commands zero respect. You get exactly what we have seen. A team with no soul and direction. But the admission from within the club is perhaps the most damning part of the entire saga. According to Ben Jacobs, Chelsea acknowledging that some wrong decision has been made, not just in appointment of Rosenior, but across the season, with lessons now being taken ahead of hiring a new manager. Even more terrifying is how close we came to a total collapse of order. While some at the top wanted to keep stubborn faith in the process, the reality on ground was a squad on edge of a breakdown. As reported by Miguel Delaney, some leading Chelsea figures still wanted to persist with William Rosenior. The situation essentially became unattainable. However, once it was apparent that some of the dressing room was close to mutiny, the disrespect wasn't just about the glass, it was about the substance of his coaching. Insiders has revealed that the players weren't just following his instruction, viewing his tactical talk as corporate fluff rather than elite football coaching. According to Miguel Delaney, Chelsea insiders were openly talking about how Liam Rosenier's instructions weren't just being followed, and that people were joking about the LinkedIn language. But this brings us to the directors. While the report suggests that they still have backing, my question is, what is a serious club doing with 5 sporting directors? As reported by The Guardian, there is still backing for Chelsea 5 sporting directors: Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart, Sam Joel, Joe Shield, and De Fellow. I think it's only fair these directors face sacking as well. The appointment has been poor, the signing hasn't hit the mark, and having 5 people do the job of one has clearly led to a too many cooks situation. If you are talking about lessons from our mistake, the hierarchy should be the first place we look at. But moving on to the replacement, because the search is officially on, we aren't wasting a second. The board has already opened the line of communication to find a man capable of restoring us to the level we belong. This isn't just about finding a tactician, it's about finding a leader who can command a room that has been completely unsettled. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea will immediately start conversation with managers and agents of managers to pick the best coach possible to maintain Chelsea level. This will be the approach. Internal talks will happen. The board clearly understands that this next appointment is the most critical one for the Blue Coat era. They need someone who can re-energize the players who felt alienated by Rosenier's approach. And while the philosophy of young talent isn't changing, there is a massive admission here. We need to talk about the old heads in that dressing room. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea believe the next appointment will be very important to impact some of the players who are not happy with Liam Rosenior. The Chelsea job is still very appealing to several managers. Chelsea will not change their view, still trusting young players and developing talent. But at the same time, they want to add some experienced players. The names are starting to fly, and it's a mix of Premier League proven talents and European tactical mind. We are looking at a list that includes likes of Eddie Howe, Marco Silva, and Edin Terzic. According to BBC Sports, sources say Andoni Iraola, Marco Silva, Edin Terzic are under consideration as possible replacements for Liam Rosenior. Ben Jacob adds, Eddie Howe, Francisco Frailola, Felipe Luis, Edin Terzic are also candidates for Athletic Club, who have admirers within Chelsea and have come up in discussion for previous vacancies. However, if you believe the noise coming out of Talksports, one name has jumped in the front of the queue. As reported by Alex Crook and Ben Jacob, Andoni Iraola is a leading candidate to become the next Chelsea boss. Talksports understand Iraola is a leading candidate, but here is the catch, and it's a big one. Even if we want him, he might not want us. As reported by Sammy Mokbel, sources believe Andoni Iraola needs convincing for the Chelsea job. Fabrizio Romano adds, Andoni Iraola would be open to staying in the Premier League. Personally, for me, I would prefer a ball-playing manager who understands the elite level. We need someone like Cesc Fabregas or Xabi Alonso, managers who has that high IQ approach to the game. But the reality is hitting us hard. Julian Nagelsmann, a name many of us wanted, is reportedly not interested in the project. According to Matt Law, Julian Nagelsmann is not thought to be interested in the Chelsea job. And as much as we might love a homecoming for Cesc Fabregas, he's fully locked in what he's building at Como. Even Enzo Maresca, a name that's floated around, is a closed door. According to Fabrizio Romano, Cesc Fabregas is completely committed to Como's project and wants to lead them into Europe. Enzo Maresca won't return to Chelsea. No chance of any sort of reunion. But this is the ultimate question we have to ask. Is this squad actually built for Iraola ball? His high-pressing, chaotic style is a world away from technical possession-based DNA many of us expect at the bridge. The report suggests that we could see anywhere from 5 to 10 candidates before the final decision is made. The board wants experience, but in this current climate, who is going to take the job? As confirmed by The Guardian, there is no standout candidate. Although Chelsea wants to shift to a manager with top-level experience, there's admiration for Fabregas and Frailola. Alonso and Iraola will be available this summer. As things stands now, we are basically being told to watch out for the summer. This appointment will decide everything. It will decide the future of our youngster and the culture of the club. Who gets the job chooses exactly how our future is going to look like. We can't afford to get it wrong. But moving on, this Sunday isn't just another match day. It's a massive throwback to one of English's most iconic rivalries. For the first time since that legendary 1970 final, we are meeting Leeds at the National Stadium in the FA Cup. The spot in the final against either Manchester City or Southampton is on the line. But we are heading into it in the middle of a total new era crisis. We are walking into Wembley with a managerial vacuum. With Rosenior sacked this Wednesday, the tactical setup is a complete wildcard. The 3-0 loss to Brighton was a rock bottom moment, where we recorded a shocking 0.04 XG in the first half, the lowest we have seen in years. However, there is a strange paradox here. While we have been dismissal in the league, we are a different beast in this competition. We are actually the leading scorers in the FA Cup this season with 20 goals in just 4 games. We have scored 4 goals in every single round so far. If we do it again this Sunday, we become the first team to score 4 goals in 5 consecutive FA Cup matches. We need that high output energy to run because our confidence is at all-time low. And Leeds are coming in with serious momentum. Leeds are in their first semi-final since 1987, and under Daniel Farke, they have found a way to frustrate us all season. They are actually unbeaten against us in the league this year, with a win at Ellen Road and a draw at Stamford Bridge. But the big worry for us is the fitness of Cole Palmer. If he isn't 100%, our creative spark takes a massive hit. Leeds will look to exploit the space behind our high line, just like they did in December. History is on our side. We have progressed from all 6 previous FA Cup ties against the Whites, and we have made it through 9 of our last 11 semi-finals. But Leeds are hungry. They are looking to become the first side since 1973 to beat us 3 times in a single season without defeat. This Sunday 3 p.m, we'll find out if the interim bounce is real, or has this project truly stalled. We have to show up, we have to find our scoring touch again. It's Wembley, it's the FA Cup. Despite the chaos behind the scene, we have a trophy to fight for. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Go be.